Okay, so let's recap a little bit of what we know about our number system, all right? First things first, what are integers? Well, integers themselves, okay, they're basically whole numbers. They're either positive whole numbers, negative whole numbers, or even zero. So we sometimes call the set of integers the set Z, which isn't, crucial, but it's something to keep in mind as you go forward. So there's a sample of the first sort of 8 or 9 integers, starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're what you would call our counting numbers in some respects, all right? Things to remember when we add integers, in other words, when we add numbers, all right? If we add a number, if we add a positive integer, we move to the right, just our number line. If we add a negative integer, we move to the left, all right? So let's keep that in mind. There's a summary there which we might come back to a little bit later. So I guess when we add a positive number, so like this first example here, when we add a positive number, the overall result is a positive. So what we're going to say is that because we have two positives here, we could say that this is the same as -3 plus 2. So -3, and we move 2 places to the right, we get equal to -1. Okay? If we have a positive and a negative number, or a negative and a positive, like we have here, a negative and a positive, a negative number and a positive number, the overall result is a negative. So in other words, we could rewrite this sum as -3 minus 2. So -3 minus +2, because we have a negative and a positive, it's the same as subtracting. And -3, if we subtract 2, we move to the left. And obviously we get -5. All right. So what if we have -3 plus -2? Okay, is it any different? Is it any different to the previous one? So a plus and a negative, a plus and a negative still gives me a negative. Okay, so we could rewrite that question as -3 minus 2, because the plus and the minus are negative. And so -3, again, minus 2 is also -5. The final little combination that we need to concern ourselves with is, what about if we have -3 minus -2? Okay, so that sounds a bit tricky, but the thing to notice here, a minus minus, is the net result is a plus. So in actual fact, we could rewrite this question as, let's undo that. Let's rewrite that as -3 plus 2. So we start at -3, add 2, and I get -1. So it can be a little bit confusing, but what we've got to concentrate on, if we have a look at this summary here again, is that if our numbers have the same sign in the brackets, so if the numbers in between are the same, we end up adding. So if you have a look here, you might get a green one. If I have a plus, if I plus a positive number, I add. If I subtract a negative number, I also add. So notice how if I've got two negatives or two positives, the net result is to add the numbers together. So we just add the numbers as normal. If, however, the signs are different, if I have a plus and a minus, like we have up there in the third example, or if I have a minus and a plus, like the second example, because the signs are different, I end up with subtracting them. All right, so that's the key. If the two signs are the same, we add them. If the two signs are different, we subtract them. All right, off you go.